it's Amy from Amy J's Creations. I'm back again for my monthly update of everything I got up to in the month of February. And it was a short month, and I mostly worked on just one project, but I still got a few other things done. So let's start with that one project, that big, giant project. This is for those who are just joining us. Oh, yes, I got a couple new subscribers, and I don't know if they're German speaking or English speaking, but thank you for subscribing, and to all the other loyal viewers. Mwah, thank you very much. Okay, so this is from Unconventional Cross Stitch, X Stitch. It's called Van Gogh Never Met the Fellowship. And I am trying to get this done by end of December this year. I am currently at 46.88%. Now, last time I filmed, I was like at 42 something. So I did get four and a little bit, like 4.5% done this month. So I think that's great. That's really great. Where did I work? Well, I added more yellow up in the top, actually, and down in the bottom. I finished that color out. That yellow is completely done. And I added some more of the lighter blue here in the middle. Well, I added it really pretty much everywhere it needed to be, but I concentrated on in the middle. And I think it's looking really good. Now, here's the thing. My poor son, he's supposed to graduate at the end of December, which is why I want to get this done, right? In order to graduate, he has to have he's supposed to go practice teach in 2 different schools for quite a long sessions. And he signs up for that through the university, and the university organizes it. Well, he got notification of the one school he was supposed to teach at, but he never heard anything about the second one, which he thought was odd. And so he called them to say, hey, what's happening? Shouldn't I have heard by now? And they were like, sorry, we forgot to sign you up for the second one. And now it's too late in the school semester to organize it, because the teacher who he would be working with is like, they have their whole schedule mapped out. It would be too hard to adjust everything to have this student teacher come in. So now he has to wait a whole nother semester because of their error. He could have made a big stink, and maybe they could have rushed to find him something. They did offer, but he was like, he hates, he didn't want to have to make a big stink. He wanted them to just do their job the first time. So that's disappointing, but they explained to him that he can still apply for work without his teaching certificate. He just can't get a contract for a full long time term, but he can get a job as a teacher in proviso, with the provision that he will get his teaching certificate, and then they will make him a formal contract after that. So he's like, it's not that horrible. It won't delay things too much. But I'm still frustrated for him. But it also means that he officially won't graduate for another 6 months. But I'm still going to keep working on this on a regular basis, not just set it aside for a whole long time. However, what that did mean is I thought to myself, I don't need to quite push to get 400 stitches a day on this thing every single day. Like when I work on it, I'm actually going for between 400 and 500 stitches at a time. But it opened it up a little bit where maybe I can do some other things. So I decided to have Finish It Fridays, because I have so many projects that I have completely finished stitching and I have not fully finished them. I used to never do that. As soon as I finished something, I would fully finish it. And I have been really slacking on that. And so I decided to turn it into Finish It Fridays. So what did I do? Well, here is my adorable cube that I made with the Lori Holt stitch cards. I don't remember what set it was, but obviously it's the winter ones. Then I had this little wooden snowflake that I painted and put some glitter on because everything is better with glitter. And glued that to the top, and then here's the bottom. Now, how did I create this? At first I was like, the Biscornu way is that you like stitch a little square all the way around, and then you whip stitch them together, and then you stuff it full so it would be soft. But I was like, no, I want this to be a real cube, and that's a lot of work. I don't want to do that, because with the Biscornu, you kind of have to, but with this cube, I didn't. So I cut out mat board. Okay, this is mat board. Pulled the fabric, I cut them into little squares, put the fabric around all the little mat boards, okay, glued them down, and even on the bottom. And then I took my ruler and I made with a friction pen little dots, 1/4 inch apart all the way down on all the sides, just a little tiny dot, and then made these big cross stitches to hold them together. And then when I stitched the top, I took the top in my hand and stitched like this one here to the top. And then I took this and kind of stitched it from this side down. And then I added this one and I stitched from this side down. And then I had this one and I kind of went up and over and down. So all of those were stitched together except for the bottom. And then I stuffed it with some leftover batting from quilting so that it is stable, but there's also like, if I pushed on this really hard, there's something kind of pushing back to make it even more stable. And then stuck that on the bottom and whip stitched all the way around. Now on the bottom, I only went one direction. And that's because it's on the bottom. It doesn't matter. It looks almost the same amount of finished, and it's fine. I was like, it's great, it's done. I don't need to do more than that. I will be making more of these. I have a couple other sets of her stitch cards. I really like this finish. Now I know I can do it and that my idea worked, and it was the work of an afternoon and it was done. So yeah, that was fun. Then the other thing I finished were my other little winter smalls that I worked on that I showed you last time. Since it was kind of winter season, I wanted to get them done. And so this hangs up in my area where my tier tray is. There's like a little table against a wall, and this hangs on the wall right behind the tiered tray, like just off to the side. And I have one now for all 4 seasons. And they are based off of, the idea came for these pantry. This is the winter pantry, autumn pantry, summer pantry, spring pantry from Brooks Books, and it's a freebie on her website. And so I finished this one first, and then I pulled the colors from here to determine what threads I used in this freebie from Doreen Jones and this freebie from Lizzie Kate, so that they all kind of coordinate. And I finished those also just on mat board. I did on the Lizzie Kate, I glued some sequins and sewed some buttons just for kind of fun. And on this one, of course, there's little beads. But yeah, now that's done. And I'm really happy with it. And I'm kind of thinking, now that I have all 4 seasons done, they're so small and I have so many smalls, I might want to make one that's like especially for just Easter, even though I have a spring one, like maybe one that's really Eastery that I can flip out, and maybe one that's Christmassy. Although it's not as necessary, the Christmas one, because where this normally is, that's where a Christmas tree goes. So we moved the table to a different area and put the Christmas tree there. So it's not totally necessary. But yeah, so that's that. And this was a find at the thrift store in the States on a trip 2 trips ago or something. Very happy with that. Okay, so then the other thing I decided was, if I have finish it Friday, I can also have kind of like on Sundays, I thought I would work on my nativity scenes. And so hold on, I've got a loose needle. Uh-oh. There we Let me do a little salvaging here. Okay, so I pulled out, this is a nativity scene. It's designed by Maria Diaz. It was in Cross Stitcher magazine, I believe. But I didn't have that issue. I just saw it on Pinterest. And so I went to her website to see if I could purchase it from her directly. She had ones that were similar, but not this exact style. So what I did is I paid for one. I bought a nativity from her and then used the nativity I found on Pinterest that may have been uploaded illegally, but that's the one I liked better. But she still got money from me, so I can sleep at night. Anyway, so I finished that one. Now I had blue started around Maria because it's a little bit hard to see her little head covering there. But I didn't want to do it for all of them. I didn't like the look, so I picked it back out again. And even though it is a little bit hard to see, you can see it, and I'm like, it's fine. It's totally fine. And I could have added backstitch around it, but the whole style of it was that it was not completely backstitched, and that's part of what appealed to me. So I just left it. It's fine. And so that one's fully finished. So then, of course, I had to start on another one. You finish one, you start one. And so the next one I started was Joy to the World by Primrose Cottage. Now this I bought just this winter, this Christmas time, when I was there and went to their shop in St. George. So nice, super friendly workers. It is not a large shop in size, floor space, but it is chock-a-block full. But organized in such a way that you get overwhelmed by it's all so pretty, but not in like, oh my gosh, I can't walk around. I can't move in here. I'm going to get claustrophobic. None of that. It's just those girls, those ladies, they are ladies. They are very talented. And the people they have hired to work at the shop, good quality people. So I highly recommend. Anyway, so I bought that and I started it. Now, I did not use any of the called for colors. I didn't have any of the called for colors. I just grabbed like the dark blue and a light blue from my Classic Colorworks collection that I have. And this is where I'm at. Now, of course, this is recommended to be stitched on 27 count 2/2, but I am doing it on this 40 count. I think it's Grandma's Apron from XG Designs 1/2. Isn't that so cute? I am going to add the stars, but I'm going to leave off the words, I'm pretty sure. So it'll fit in better with my little collection of all the nativity scenes. And I worked on this on Sunday while my son and I and my daughter played Battle of Hogwarts. Sadly, Voldemort won. He beat us. We were not able to beat him this time. We will try again. But as I was waiting in between turns, I worked on that. And then, because Sunday was also the first, and I like to work on my chatelaine the first of every month with Mortina, the German stitcher. So I worked on that during the game, and then in the evening, I just had a little bit of time to work on my chatelaine. This is Polar Lights. And so what I did is I worked on these light blue, I think they're leaves, and then the caps of like a bunch of grapes or something, but I didn't do the grapes. I just worked on this color. And it's supposed to go all the way down. But I have a little concern because here on the top, there's like one stitch between the stem and the start of the leaf, okay? But here, starting after this middle point, it's 2 stitches between the stem and the start of the leaf. And I don't know if that's an error or if it's supposed to not be the same. Like if she had to change it to make it fit the space. I'm not sure. It bugs me. I've looked on the Chatelaine official website for all the, where they publish like the corrections. There's nothing there on it. I've joined the Facebook Chatelaine Designs Help Facebook group. I haven't been brave enough to ask it. I'm going to just keep on working until I get to a point where I have to, and then I will ask. Because I don't want to look dumb. And I mean, I know there's no dumb questions, but Like, I'm a total shadowing noob, and I don't want to offend all of the professional stitchers over there. I don't know that they would get offended, but part of me is like, of course, you just follow the pattern, but part of me is like, but that's not symmetrical, and her whole thing was symmetry, so what's up with that? So anyway, but the color is gorgeous, and I'm very happy. Okay, and then my other project I worked on is Cherry Garden by Twin Creek Primitives. Now, this is supposed to be my leap year start or project where I work on it, every the 25th of every month. This 25th of February was very special because that's actually my brother's birthday, the one I think of when I stitch on this. So that was kind of fun. And what did I work on? I worked on the man some more. I worked on it, finished his coat and put in his face and his hands. I did the bunny, and I started working on the lady's apron. Not a whole lot, but again, I still have almost 2 years to get this done. And this is like really all that's left. So if I just work on it for a little bit every time, it really is going to get done. No problem. And it's kind of fun that way. Oh yeah, I started the stem of the tree, the trunk of the tree. It's very fun to work on a project where there is literally no pressure. It's like, whatever. If you only have an hour to stitch, you only have an hour to stitch, and that's okay. The whole point is you are supposed to stitch for a while and really enjoy it. So yeah, that was that. Now, because I also knew that I had a little bit of breathing room with my big full coverage, which is my main project, I decided, since it's, going to be Easter in a month, I would work on my Easter project. I only have this one going currently because I have lots of other things already stitched for Easter that are already fully finished and in my decorations box. But this is Hoppy Hollow Easter Village from Vintage Tulip Designs. And I worked on the girl bunny. That's what I've done so far. And I will keep working on this intermittently. Like I said, I work on my full coverage most of the days, every day. And after I get my 400 stitches, then I will switch, like in the evening, if I have extra time, to this. And if there's a day where I'm starting to feel like I'm getting bugged of the full coverage, then I will skip a day and work on this. That's kind of what I'm giving myself. Plus, of course, the finish Fridays and working on Sunday on something else. Those built-in like little breaks are so far really working that when I work on it, I am very motivated and I'm not getting sick of it, because that's what happened before. I was working on it so much and then I set it aside and didn't even look at it for months, which is not the point, right? It's slow and steady wins the race. So that's really what I am trying to practice. So those are my projects. I know, short month, and yet I mostly worked on only one, and yet there's a lot of other stuff that I got done. So I'm very happy with that. How is my life updates? What is going on for my life? Well, you've kind of heard about my son with that thing. We're going in less than 2 months to America for my daughter's graduation. She's doing great. Her graduation is not delayed. And as for myself, I'm healthy, which is great. I'm sleeping pretty good, which, menopause, perimenopause kind of messes with your sleep. So I'm only getting like 6.5 to 7 hours a night, but at least I'm sleeping all the way through the night, which is before I was not. So I'm happy with that. Fun things coming up in my life. In 2 days, I am going to a stitchy meetup with my Swiss cross stitchy friends in Bern. That'll be fun for the whole day on Saturday. And then the next weekend after that, I'm going for 3 whole days with my friends to Stein am Rhein. We've rented a little Airbnb, and we're going to get together and stitch and chat the whole weekend. We did it once 2 years ago. It was heaven. My husband, when I got back, my husband was like, what shows did you watch? Did you watch any good movies? And I'm like, we never even turned the TV on. We sat and chatted the entire time. And he's like, for 3 days? Yes, honey, for 3 days. It was glorious. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I did get accepted to go to the Stitchy meetup in Zindelfingen at the Zweigart factory. and it's right before we fly to America in April, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go anyway because I really want to see those ladies. It's very fun. Work-wise, work is going great. I just actually applied for a position at a bigger library in the town right next to ours. I'm still going to keep my library job here, but that job there is a few more hours, and I can do them both at the same time. And I decided, look, I'll apply. If I get it, great. And if not, that's okay too. Cause like, I'm still happy with my little job here, but a little extra money with all these kids being in college and all the trips we want to take would be nice. Um, and so they called me for an interview. So I have an interview in a week and a half. So I'm excited about that because I mean, right? Even being asked for an interview is great. It was really cute when the lady called me. I was at work and I didn't recognize the number. And I was like, well, I'm at work at my library. I can't answer the phone. But fortunately, I wasn't helping a customer right then, a patron. And so I answered it. And I'm so glad I did because it was the lady. She's like, hi, we're wanting to have you come in for an interview. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just glad that they asked me. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When she called, she's like, I know you just recently, because like you had to send in your application by the end of February, right? And it's like what, March 4th when she called. She was like, is it? Are you still interested? I was like, yes, I'm still interested. So that makes me wonder if perhaps other people applied earlier, and then by the time they called them in for an interview, they were like, never mind. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. She was like, are you still interested? I'm like, she's like, I know you just barely applied. And I'm like, yes, you're right. I kind of laughed. She was laughing too. Yes, I'm very interested. So I'm happy they're even letting me go into interview. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. It's a 30%. So here in the Switzerland, it's very common that you can work a full-time job, you can work a 50% job, you can work a 70% job, you can work a 40% job, and this one is a 30% job. So it would be, I think, I don't even know how many hours it is, like maybe 10, 12. Yeah, it's probably like 12 hours a week, which is great. That's great. Because I work about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours normally on average. Like this week, not. I worked a lot more. Um, but generally speaking, I work about 4 to 5 hours a week at my little local library. So that's totally doable because I'm still a full-time mom. I did however have a chat with my family and said, look, people, if I get this job, some night I'll be working. They're open later in the evening. And so I was like, people are going to have to step up. Right now, I kind of do everything. I do all the laundry. I do the cooking. I do all the cleaning. And I'm fine with that. They're busy with school. But I'm like, if I'm working too, I can't be the full-time mom because now I have a real part-time job. Like my little library job, that hasn't really affected too much. But this one, I will be gone more. So we're going to have like a rotation of each of you will be responsible for dinner one night a week, and you might be responsible for cleaning your own bathrooms, and I will clean me and your dad's bathroom still. And they were totally fine with that. So that's good. I mean, they're all adults. They're all capable. It's just, if they're at home, I feel like I might as well let them enjoy the perks of being at home, right? But if I'm working, I need help. I'm not going to kill myself over it. And they need the practice so that when they do eventually move out on their own, they've gotten into a rhythm. So they think that's great. They're like, you could have asked this earlier. And I was like, I know. And sometimes I do. Like, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to be out tonight. Can you be in charge of dinner? And they're like, yeah, sure. So it's not that they don't help at all. It's just that this will now be, instead of a just kind of random when I ask, it will be a set schedule of them helping out. But I think that's good. So yeah, that's me. I hope you are all healthy and happy and staying safe. And I will see you next month to show you everything I got up to. Bye.